ahead and get started. So, there's times in life where you're going to have like a bunch of numbers, kind of like we have, and you're going to want to find different things with it, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to use all of these numbers that we found, and we're going to find our central measures of tendency, okay? Our measures in the middle of things. The first thing we're going to look at is the mean. So if the mean is another way to say average. We use average a lot. Like I use average. I'll add up all your test scores to find the average. That would tell me about what the middle of what everyone made. So we should be copying this down on our notes. Where are our notes? So on the other side of our page. So mean is when we add up all of our numbers and divide by the number that we added together. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all of our numbers here. We're going to do them all. Out of all of our attempts, we're going to find the mean. So what that means is I'm going to take all of these numbers and I'm going to add them all up. Okay? So I kind of cheated already because I kind of already know what some of these added together are, right? Because I found the totals earlier. So I know that what is the total for my attempt number ones? My first column of numbers. 88. Okay, so I know. So finding the total, we're going to do it in black so we don't get confused. So 88. What is my second attempts total? 83. What's my third attempts? And my final attempt? So now what I can do is add all these together. 88, 83, 86, and 91. What is 8 plus 3? 11. What's 11 plus 6? 17. What's 17 plus 1? 18. So I'm going to put this one over here. What's 1 plus 8? Okay, so 9 plus 8. 17 plus 8. 25. All right, remember the trick to do this. Do 25 plus 10. Subtract 1. So 34. Now, I've done step 1 of the mean. Step 1 is to add. Step 2 is to divide. Well, what am I going to divide? I'm going to take and see how many numbers did I add all together. All right, so I added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So I'm going to divide my total, what? Oh, yeah, I see what I did. I wrote 6 instead of 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 348 and I'm going to divide it by how many numbers I added together. Some of you are sitting here with your hands in your lap. Some of you are playing with your fingers, when all of you should be writing this down. So I'm going to take, and I'm going to divide 24 into 348. How many times does 24 go into 3? 0. How many times and bring that 4 down. How many times does 24 go into 34? 1. 1 times 24 is 24. 34 minus 24 is 10. How many times do we think 24 goes into 108? What do you want to try? What number? 5? Cameron, head up, please. What's 5 times 4? 5 times 2? Plus 2? Ooh. Is that too big? Yeah. Let's try 4. What's 4 times 4? 16. 4 times 2? Plus 1? Does that work? All right, good. So 4. So that's 96. 8 minus 6 is 2. 10 minus 9 is 1. I'm going to add a decimal. What am I going to do to that decimal? Pop it up. Pop that decimal right on up. How many times does 24 go into 120, Kennedy? 5. We know that because we just did it right here, right? So that gives me 120 minus 120, which is 0. So my mean is 14.5. That tells me right there that the middle, the very middle of all of these numbers, at the average that everyone made their tower, the average was 14.5. Okay, so the average is 14.5. Mean is the same as average. Average and mean go hand in hand. They're like, oh, I have no idea what I just did. But mean and average, they're like besties. Besties, they're the same. Okay, so the average number of cookies towers was 14.5. Okay, how do you feel about mean? Mean's not bad. I feel a lot of people forget the second step. So a lot of people are like, oh, I just add them all together. Great. But they forget to count how many numbers they added together and divide their answer by that number. Okay. So remember, mean is 2 steps. And you can kind of think about it like, in math, mean means the average. But in the real world, if you say someone's mean, that means they're like not nice, right? As Baby Grace says, not nice. So the mean, it's kind of mad. It's mean. It's not nice. It's unfriendly. So it's so not nice that you have to do 2 steps, okay? It's a 2-stepper. So you have to add and divide. That's how mean the mean is. It makes you do 2 things to find it. I don't know. I just came up with that. I think that's kind of, hopefully that'll help you. What if I want to find out what number is in the middle? What if I want to look at all of the attempts that you all made and I want to find, okay, well, what number's in the middle? What do you think I can do? How would I do that? If I wanted to take, okay, come on, guys. I need y'all to wake up a little bit. I'm going to make y'all do some jumping jacks. If I have all of these numbers, all of your attempts, and I want to say, okay, I wonder what the middle was. You know, what's the middle number of Oreo stats? What do you think I could do? Aubrey? Not quite, not quite. You got another guess? Not quite. We're not going to add anything. So if I want to figure out what the middle number is, I'm going to do something called the median. I'm going to put my numbers in order from least to greatest, and then I'm going to find the number in the middle. So in order to figure out what the median is, or the middle, I'm going to arrange all of my numbers from least to greatest, and then I'm going to figure out which one lands in the middle. So I'm going to line them all up from least to greatest and figure out which one lands in the middle. Matthew, I love your comments in the chat, but I'm sorry I didn't say that earlier. Guys, I really do need y'all to start waking up. All right, so let's figure it out. Okay, let's go back to our last slide. Let's take all of our numbers and let's line them up. Let's put them in order from least to greatest. Okay, what is the very smallest number you see up here? Kennedy? Ooh, I see something even lower. 10. Okay, so my very first number then is going to be 10. I'm going to go ahead and mark 10 out. What comes after 10? 11. How many 11s do you see? Only 1. So I'm going to write 11 one time. Remember, every single number has to be accounted for, okay? So if you have multiples of one number, you have to write that many times, okay? For instance, how many 12s are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means when I write 12, I have to write 12 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Do you see how as I'm doing it, I'm crossing off the numbers? I'm crossing off the numbers because that's telling me, okay, I have already written that number. So what comes after 12? 13. How many 13s do I have? 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Good. What comes after 13? How many 14s do you see? 5. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We should all be writing this down. Every single number you should be on your paper, because when you get in your groups in just a minute and you try and figure out your group's information, you need to have an example to look back on. You can make it right smaller. You have that entire space right there. You can do it. What comes after 14? How many 15s are there? 2. 1, 2. Okay, so I'm completely done with this column. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. What comes after 15? How many 16s are there? 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. All right. And then 17, how many? 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay, so that gets rid of this column. We can go ahead and erase that. Then it comes 18. 1, and then no 19s, right? And then 2 20s. All right. Whew. On the last slide, we already counted that we had 24 numbers, correct? So let's double check that I have 24 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. All right. Right here, do you want to know what the hardest part of median is? Writing all the numbers down. Because it's so easy to skip a number or to forget a number. Okay, how many of you, show of hands, have ever driven on the highway before? Like been in the car with your parents when they were on the highway? I know none of you can drive. So all hands are up, right? We've all been in the car that's been on the highway. Do you know what they call that like grassy area in between the two sides of the road? Wait, what do they call it? The grassy area. What's the name of it? The median. Why do you think they call it the median? It's in the middle. So just like that middle of the highway, we want to find the middle of our numbers. Why don't they call that a middle? But instead they call it a median. So the median, I'm going to show you how I do it. I think this is one of the easiest ways. So what I do is I take my pencil. I'm not even going to do a highlighter. I'm going to take a pencil, and this is what I do. I go underline one number, my first number on one side, and then I underline my number on the number on the other side, the last number. That tells me those two numbers go together. And then I'm going to keep going back and forth, one number at a time. Why do you think I only do one? Why don't you think I do like 2 at a time or 3 at a time? Yeah, because sometimes like if you do multiple numbers, that's when you start making mistakes. So we're going to go one number at a time. The number on this side matches this number. This 12 matches this 17. This 12 matches this 17. This 12 matches this 16. Good job, Matthew. This 13 matches this 16. Does everyone see how I'm doing this? Okay, we should be doing it on our papers. We should never just be sitting there twiddling our fingers. Like literally 10 of you are just sitting there not doing anything. All right, this 13 goes with this 16. This 13 goes with this 15. Everyone, do you see? If you didn't see what I was doing before, is this starting to make more sense now? This 14 goes with this 15. This 14 goes with this 14. And I'm left with 2 14s. What is in the middle of 2 14s? No, just 14. 14. 14's in the middle, right? Because 14 and 14, they go together. They're the same number. There's no half of that. So my median, my middle number equals 14. Yes, Olivia. Okay, I'm glad you asked that. Let's take a look. Let's do like a quick mini, let's just do a mini little thing right here. Say I have this number, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How would I find the median of this number? Let's do the same thing. 2 and 6 go together. 3, wait. I did 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So 2 and 7 go together. 3 and 6 go together. And now I'm stuck with two numbers in the middle, 4 and 5. How do I figure out what comes in between 4 and 5? Okay, it'd be 4.5. How do you get that 4.5? How do you know that 4.5 comes in between 4 and 5? If you don't know, the trick you can do is you add them together. What's 4 plus 5? And you take that 9 and you divide it by 2. So you do 2 into 9. How many times does 2 go into 9? 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. 9 minus 8 is 1. Add a decimal, pop it up. Add a 0, right on up. Add a 0, drop it like it's hot. And how many times does 2 go into 10? 5 times. So the middle of these numbers down here would be 4.5. Or another trick, if you can handle it, it would always be 0.5. Not always, never mind, I'm not going to teach you that. So for the middle of 4 and 5 is 4.5. But sometimes, like Olivia said, it's not always going to be that easy. Like sometimes it might be 4 and 17, and you'd have to find the middle of that. All right, so the next one is the easiest, the mode. The mode is the most occurring number. The most occurring number. Yes, ma'am. It'll be a few minutes. Okay, thank you. All right, so today we're looking at these numbers. Okay, here's our numbers from the last thing. I want to see what number occurs the most. What number do I have the most? Well, let's think about this. How many 10s do I have? 1. How many 11s? 1. How many 12s do I have? 4. How many 13s do I have? 3. How many 14s? 5. How many 15s? How many 16s? How many 17s? How many 18s? How many 20s? So what number occurs the most? So my most, another word to think of mode, mosty mode. Kind of like, you know, Post Malone. Some people call him like Posty Post or Posty. Mosty mode is the most occurring number, and that would be 14. Is it possible to have no mode? If none of your numbers repeat, you don't have a mode, right? So you would just write no mode. Okay, what do we think? Mode's probably our favorite, right? Yeah. Yes, quickly. Then both of those numbers would be your answer. So say, for instance, there was one more 12 in our problem, then our mode would be 12 and 14. Okay, so you can have multiple modes. You can have one mode or you can have no modes. Okay, range. Range is the difference between the greatest number or your biggest number and the least number. Range, the difference between the greatest number and the least number. So greatest minus least. So real quick, let me take our numbers real quick again. Actually, you know what? They should be copied already. Haha, they are. I love when that happens. Love when a plan doesn't work out. Works out. All right, so now what we're going to do is now we're going to find our range. What is our biggest number? 20. What is our smallest number? 10. So now we're going to subtract. What's 20 minus 10? So our range of numbers is 10. I did the biggest number, 20, and I subtract the smallest number from it. So big minus small. Big minus small. That's all you have to do to get the range. Big minus small equals range. So, Everyone have this copied? Okay. Okay. So, we all have this Oreo here, right? So, I came up with this Oreo because I thought maybe this could help you on a test. You could, as soon as you get like your test, you could draw a quick little circle and split it into fours and write out these. So basically what it is it's going to be a shortcut. So one word to help you remember mean, one word to help you remember mode, one word to help you remember median, one word to help you remember range. So the mean of something is what we're going to call the average. What? So the average. Mean is the same thing as average, which I can't apparently spell today. I'm glad you could spell it. Oh, and you know what else is kind of cool? Mean. Mean is like you're mad, right? Rage is also another way to be like mad. Rage is when you just like, you go Hulk on someone. Ugh. All right, we should be copying this down. Bryson, are you copying this down or are you playing with that bag? Okay. The median. When you think of median, what do you think of? Middle. So median is the same as the middle. All right. When you think of mode, what can you think of? What word? Most. Good. So the mode would be the most. And when you think of range, I want you to think of the difference because you're subtracting. The diff, because remember you're doing biggest minus smallest, B minus S. All right. So when we come back from lunch, a lot